You can help keep FlyingRC.net operating and independent by visiting our gear store. I'm not making the mugs and shirts myself, but I am designing, producing, and applying all the graphics you see on all the items. And if you think I could make something for you, just let me know. I was really sure that I never wanted to get an EDF jet, right up until I seen one of these Vipers fly. And while I was doing new stuff, we thought we'd go ahead and look at these new batteries and chargers from Spectrum. The review on those batteries will come along in a little while. The Viper's made from EPO foam, so it's about as durable as foam's gonna get. And it comes pretty much assembled with all the graphics on it. All the servos for the ailerons, flaps, and retractable gear are already installed. When I saw a bunch of labeled wires, I thought we were home free. The canopy area is removable and gives you great access to the batteries. And it's even got a little pilot you can look at when it's on the ground, because when it's flying you ain't going to see them. Even the elevator and rudder servos are pre-installed and wired. If this thing winds up going into the ground at 100 miles an hour, I'll be glad that I didn't spend a lot of time putting it together. The underside of everything has this camouflage on it that's going to make it blend in the gray skies real good. The Viper's going to be a sunny day flyer for me initially anyway. I remember thinking that the fuselage just looked fast when I pulled it out of the foam. I also thought that looked like too many wires. They do give you enough room to work in this cockpit area and to fit most any battery that it's rated for. I was impressed that the battery's right out there in the open. This is the back of the fuselage where the tail feathers go on, and they do have extensions in there, but I had to fish them out a little bit. While I was goofing around with the wires back there, I decided to pull the fan out so you could see what that looks like. I have to admit being a little surprised at how big it really is and how fancy the fan blades are. Fans apparently have come a long way. The receiver is pretty buried, so they put on these extensions so we can get at it. There's even an extension for the bind plug. The factory installed and wired the speed control, and I'm sure hoping that this never goes bad. The factory did a nice clean job of laying out the wiring in this plane. And they used decent hinges so everything stays put and doesn't flutter. Another nice thing about the Viper is that this is all the screws you need to put it together, and you only need one wrench. I wonder how big of a revelation this idea was at the factory. The instructions are actually pretty good also. I can think of a bunch of manufacturers that need to check this out. They use 4 screws across the front of the wing and 2 at the back. As fast as I've seen Vipers fly, we don't want this wing getting loose. I was real proud to see that the retracts are all installed and actually lined up and stuff. The main gear retracts are also nicely installed and lined up. I've seen some people whining about how fast the retracts work. I think that's pretty dumb, and they can get slower retracts when they go out and buy themselves a big boy's jet, I guess. I had no problem balancing the Viper on my fingers, but decided to get out my Exakoi system and see how close I really was. This showed me that I was just a tick nose heavy at the center of the CG location. And the CG is going to stay right there until after I fly this thing. The instructions tell you to disconnect the ball joints, or one end of it anyway, and flex the controls a little bit to loosen up the hinges. I know this sounds dumb, but it's really important. It's also not tough to do, so we'll wait while you get it done. So while I'm waiting for Maiden Day, I'm going to play with my way too fast retracts. Before long, we get to see how decent I am on a jet.